Good morning, students. We have studied the form tag along with the input elements and seen different types of input elements. I have another example here for the radio button. Okay, so you just have a look at the output here. Four radio buttons which belong to the same group are displayed. Now by default, we can the moment you load it, we can say that by default we can make a selection. So by default I have kept the first radio button, that is from the age group 0 to 19, as selected. So for this we will have to select another attribute. See, if I refresh this, by default, whenever it is loaded, the first category is always selected. Just like for checkbox, when you have a checkbox and you want the default state to be checked in, you want it to be ticked. So same way for radio button also, you can keep that value checked. So for that, just have a look at the score inside the form tag. This is my form. Inside the form, the way I have written now, the input tag and the label tag is different. In the yesterday's example, we saw that first we wrote the label tag. After that, we had the input tag. Now, what I have done is, inside my label, I have nested my input tag. So my input tag ends here. This is my input tag, which is specifying the type as radio. I've given the name, I've given the value, I have not specified the ID this time, and this property, the last property, checked. This is the property. For that, I have said it to be the value that it takes is checked. So whenever you specify this value, by default, whenever you load, that particular radio button will be highlighted or it will be selected. And then I have ended my label tag. In the similar way, I have created 3 more here with different age categories. Like if I have to show you the example for this, if I remove this, so if I refresh now, you can see no button is getting selected. Understand, until I manually do not select, it's not highlighted. But if I mention this property, checked, then by default, a particular radio button for which you have specified that property, that is going to be selected. So in case when you have forms wherein you usually mention an asterisk which indicates that it is a compulsory field. So what you can do is, sometimes when you create a form and you may feel that the user might not select from given section of the radio buttons. So by default, you can just put a particular checked value, so that even if the user has missed out that, it will try to store the default value. That is the only use of this. So this is another property for your radio button. Then let us study 2 more input types which are different from the rest. We usually have input type and then we specify whether it is a radio button or whether it is a checkbox or a text box. So what if we want to have a drop down list? So for the drop down list, you need not have to specify input type is equal to. We have a separate tag for it, and the tag is called as select. This basically, the select tag or the select element is used to create a drop down list. Now again, inside the select, we need to specify the list of items which should be present in our drop down list. So for that, we need to specify this option tag. Just like you had lists, you had an unordered list or an ordered list, and inside that, whenever we needed the list to be displayed, we made use of the li tag or the li element, that is list items. Similarly, here also, we are going to make use of the select tag. The select tag or the select element indicates that we are creating a drop down list. So what items do you want to specify inside the drop down list? That is going to be given by this option tag. Again, there are attributes or there are other values that you can specify, like whether you want to select multiple items from the drop down list. For that, you have the attribute as multiple. Another property is size. Size indicates when you load the drop down list, how many items should be visible. Then you have another property called as, you can disable it. You create a drop down list, but it should not be active for the user. It should be disabled. Then you also have autofocus, wherein you can show that when the page is first loaded, your drop down list is highlighted or is focused on the screen. So let us have a look at the examples for this. Along with this drop down list, we have another different type of an input, that is the text area. So this is different from the input type text. Text area means wherein you can accept multiple lines of comments from the user. Usually what happens, whenever we have the input type as text, we are allowed to take only a specific number of characters. Now you must have seen in certain forms that they will ask you for any review, or they ask you for any comments or any feedbacks. So there the customer or the user who is trying to use a web page, uh, basically we can't put restrictions. It's up to the user how much of comments he wants to write or how much of feedback he needs to give. He can go up to paragraphs. So for that we can make use of the text area. Again, whenever we talk about the text area, we do not have to specify the input type. We are directly going to make use of text area tag only. So remember these two controls, select and text area. We never specify it in the input type. We directly make use of the tags. Then the text area again comes with attributes, like you can specify the number of rows and you can specify the number of columns. So let us have a look at the example and understand. So this is about the radio button. We'll first do the drop down list. This is, I've just created a basic structure of the HTML, and in the p tag I have written, I'm just trying to display this. So this could also be written in terms of a heading. Now inside my form I'm going to have a drop down list, and you can see here in the comments I have mentioned which are the different attributes that our drop down list can take. So first let us try the basic one. Let me write, I directly have to start with my select tag. The tag itself is select. Now you need to remember, whenever you mention the select tag, the important property is name. If you skip this name attribute, then your drop down list will, whatever you select from the drop down list will not be passed to your server, or you can say will not be passed to store in the database. The values will not be fetched itself. The values will not be stored only. So you need to mention this name attribute compulsorily. Okay. So we have select name is equal to, you can give it name for your drop down list. So I am going to mention these elements. So these are nothing but grocery elements. So I'll give a name as groceries. So whatever is relevant to your drop down list, that name you can give. I'll make use of the first attribute and let me specify it as size. And first time when the drop down list is displayed, or whenever the drop down list, every time it is loaded, I say that let only 2 items be displayed as the drop down. Okay. Now inside this I need to specify, I need to make use of the option tag. I need to make use of the option tag to specify which are the list of items that need to be displayed. I'm going to copy paste this 3 more times so that I can have my drop down menu. And inside this I need to write the list names or any element names that you want to appear in the drop down. We need also to end this select tag. Remember that these options are a part of the select tag. Okay, so let's save and check the output. So you can see here now, I have specified the size to be 2. So 2 items are getting displayed, right? If you scroll, you are able to see the rest of the items. You can also select. Now, if I remove this, let us see how it works when I remove this particular property. We'll save, refresh. So at a time, by default, you have one item, and this is your drop down now. So if I increment this, if I make this 3, again refresh, so 3 items will be displayed in the drop down. Then let me make use of the next property. I'll remove this and show you. I'll write autofocus. You just have to write this property or the attribute name, autofocus. To save this, you can see this black color tint which indicates that this is the focus. Otherwise, this is how it is displayed in a little grayish tint. When you click on, you make use of the property autofocus, the focus is kept on this particular drop down. So this is one property. Then you can have multiple. So what is this multiple? Multiple means you can select multiple items from your drop down. So I'm going to refresh. What I will do is, I'm going to select 2 items. I can go for multiple selection. So this property will allow you to have multiple options from the drop down. Then last one we have disabled, which is going to remove the focus from your drop down list, and basically the drop down that you created is going to be inactive. So it's displayed, but then the user will not be able to select it. So the property that I was telling, name, this one, this is important. So if you do not specify this, the respective selections that you make will not be able to pass in the form and will not be able to pass in your server or will not be able to be stored in the database. So name is an important and a compulsory attribute. Then after this select tag, we will move on to the next one, that is your text area. So this text area, as I said, can take multiple lines of comments from the user. Again, we need not specify the input type here. We directly have to write our tag name, and the tag name is text area. So text area, we'll give a name for it. Next, I'll specify the number of rows, and I will also specify the number of columns. Columns is specified by just COLS and give the numeric values. Let me say, I'm just giving a random number. We'll close this here. Then I need to close, it comes with a pair. Okay, so you need to close the tag here. Just have a look at the output now. This is my opening text area tag and this is my closing text area tag. So this is how your text area is going to look. Okay. Now what we will do is, if a user is just going to look at this, he will not be able to make out like what is this. No doubt we have written here. Another feature that you can add is here. You could specify in the brackets or just for the user's readability, you can write any comments. You can say so like this, you can specify a random text. So this will appear in your text area. You can also expand this. You will have this cursor. You can observe, you can resize this. Okay. Now, this is a default size. I'll show you if we remove these rows and columns. Let us remove these rows and columns. So this is how it is going to look. Okay. If I specify, let me make this as so this is how it will appear on the browser whenever you specify any rows and columns. Even if you do not specify, a default size will be there, which you can again resize. So this is about text area. Now have a look at this particular output here. Okay. I want you to again take this as a homework. I want you to design this. First observe, have a look at it and see which all input fields, because we have studied now all of the input fields are done. So which all input fields are used here in this particular form. We have a text box, right? We have made use of labels. Then we have radio buttons and we have two buttons now. How would you design this? Can you just start giving your inputs? Deepika Lingde, roll number 687. Are you there in the meeting, Deepika? Deepika, are you there in the meeting? Manisha? Manisha Patil? Indrabhushan?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me which are the
Ma'am,
inputs?
we make use of that bold tag.
Bold tag, okay. Where, for which property?
Ma'am, welcome to Millennium Gymnastic Booster Club.
Okay. What if you directly make use of the heading? You have heading tags also.
Directly head tag, ma'am.
Yes, head
Yes,
tag,
ma'am.
correct. Then
And
this,
for the label, ma'am, we can specify a label is equals to and input that buyer's name.
okay, have a look here. Okay, along with your inputs, just see everything. The first one, we'll start with the first one as you said, bold tag. We need not go for a bold tag because the headings will already give that implementation to us, the bold and the extra font size. So you can directly go for the heading tag. Now this entire data that you see here is put up in a form, okay, because whatever is entered here needs to be submitted and it needs to be stored somewhere. So here inside the form, you can see a table tag is used. Okay, the only thing is you're not able to make out because we have not specified the border for this. There is no border specified. So a table tag, this is the first row. Inside the first row, here, this is your first column. You have the buyer's name. This is again inside the TD tag, we have specified the input type. These are two statements. Have a look at it. We have a row This is a first row. In the first row, we need to specify the data. We do not require any table heading now. So we have specified the table data. In the table data, the first cell will have buyer's name. Second cell, inside the table data, you want to specify your input type as text. Okay. Likewise, you create 3 more rows. You need, sorry, 2 more rows. You need to create 2 more rows. This is your second row and this is your third row. So this table you are familiar because the border is specified. You can make out, right? So one table tag is ended here. I have made use of a BR tag. Observe the BR tag also. There are various ways in you can specify this BR. We have learnt this way. This, even without this, it works. Some older versions will also go for this type. Then we can go for this also. Not this. This one will be specified. We have learnt this one. So this is the BR tag. After the BR tag, we have again specified a table now. Okay. This time the border is given. So again here we have 3 columns and we are having 5 rows. First one is the table heading. 3 table headings. In the first row, in your second row, normal table data. Again here there is an input field. So you need inside the TD tag here you will again have to specify the input type as text and the name is given. Similarly, you create for these next consecutive rows also. Then coming down last one, that is the payment type. So for the payment type, just a heading tag to display this, and then we have set of radio buttons, right? So you can create this, and the last part is just your buttons. One is the submit button and another is the reset button. So input type, one is submit and one more is reset. So I want you to take a snapshot of this again. I want you to try to do this coding and see, try to have the output in a similar way as it is displayed here. So try to do it. I have already shared the previous one, that is I had given another assignment. First one, the table with nested tables, table within a table. I don't know how many of you have tried. Some of them had texted me, they have showed me the output. I have sent the file yesterday to Chetan. I hope it's put up in the group. So you people can go through and compare. And you feel that you have not understood, you let me know. We will trace it and we'll try to do that program in the next class. And if any doubts are there regarding that program, you can ask. So even take this as a second question for your assignment and try to do this. So you people can drop in your attendance